Right. Right. Let's start today's session. In the last session, we were discuss about first application of DJANGO REST framework. So we were discuss how to create API. Okay. So we have seen in the last session how to create API and how to retrieve the data from database model. So that is a serialization concept we discussed. Okay. So as I said, that serialization means, so we are going to get the complex data type. That is, this is the serialization what we have done. So this is complex type. Complex type we are sending into view, that is Python type. Finally, we got the response into JSON type. Okay. Yes. Now here you can see this is the serialization. So serialization. Yes. Now this is complex type. Complex type means your model instances or query set object data. Now this should be transferred to view, that is Python type. And finally, we are converting that into JSON type. We are going to display the data into JSON data on here, JSON data. So this is serialization concept, what we did in the last session. Now let me explain once the application flow, what we discussed in the last session. Then after that, today we'll discuss serialization concept with a different mechanism with the JSON render method. Okay. So in the last session, we just create application one, REST app one. In this REST app one, we just create a models. So model name is employee model. And after that, I have done make migrations and migration. And also I have included this model into admin.py registration. You know that why we need to include this model into admin file means we have to go to admin.py file. And in that admin.py file, we have to we have to include this employee model. Once we include this employee model into admin.py file, there we can able to manage your database. Okay. So already we created in the last session super user also, that with the name called DRF. That super user through we have to log in and we can manage your model also here. So let's go to terminal and how to run this server. We'll see by looking super user. If you want go to admin panel, super user, you can manage that. So manage.py run server. And here I'm trying to going to use admin. Now you can see this is the DJANGO REST framework. This is actually apps are here. This app is created. What is this? This is browsable API. Okay, sorry, something wrong. Give me one second. Yes, this is browsable API. Let me run. Let me restart. So Python space manage.py run server, and now you can see hit the link. Automatically we got this simply API. This is JSON data we are looking. And now I want to go to admin panel. Let's go to admin/admin. This is one of the URL. In the last session, I created what actually super user name is DRF, DJANGO REST framework, password also DRF, and click on login. Now this time we can see REST app one is my application name, implies this is admin.py file manage. Your model database table we can manage with admin.py. Because of this code only, we are going to manage this. But right from now onwards, you need not include any admin.py file. You need not include this model registration and all, because we can easily, without admin.py file also, we can easily manage that. Let me log out and close this. How we can manage our table, database table without admin.py file means you can see right hand side in the PyCharm editor, database is there. And here in this, your application name is REST app one. By default, once we create a model, after making migrations and migrate, automatically your model is going to be created with name rest app one dot underscore model name employee. Right click on it and simply edit data. This table data we can also see here in this case. No need to go to admin panel. Here only you can manage it. This data only is going to display into REST API, REST application through onto the browser or not. You can see Python manage.py run server, and I'm going to click on this, and we are getting the complex type to Python type to JSON type. This is called JSON type application / JSON. This data we are retrieving. Okay, why this is post method is there? Now you can see post method. This post method, because of in the view section we have written post method also. If you remove this post, then that will not come here. Now you can see post method I have removed no, in this view section. Then automatically you can see this, refresh this browser, and post is not there, only reading is there. So this is how what we discussed in the last session. First API programming, how to retrieve the data. For that I'm using here, you can see in the view section mainly. So from REST framework dot views import API view. From REST framework dot response, this is API response. Your model is coming REST app one dot models employee, REST app one dot serializers dot emp serializer. So to convert complex type to JSON type, compulsory serializers are required. So that's what I have added serializers.py file also. In this serializers.py, now I am using now model serializer I have used. No? Why model serializer I have used? Because model serializer, if you use, just you can assign the model name, your model class name, automatically fields will get all. So no need to include how many number of fields are there in models.py, 4 fields. These 4 fields no need to include again repeatedly in the serializer. But in today application, I'm going to use normal serializer only instead of model serializer. We'll see this, okay, how it will work. Let's close this, all the tabs which I have open. Now admin.py, models.py, and today I'm going to show you a new application that is REST app 2. It's my new application, and same, excuse me, same procedure I'm going to do, means how to read the data from model and display into user. But this is today lecture is different because right now the result is coming into browsable API window. But now today lecture, I'm going to create same thing, but I'm going to test our API by using Python file. How it will be, you will see this. Okay. Now serializers means what? Serializers allow complex data such as query sets and model instances to be converted into native Python data types that can be then easily rendered into JSON or XML or other content types. Serializers also provide deserialization, allowing parsed data to be converted back into complex type only. Serializer will allow deserialization. So the process of converting complex data like query sets and model instances to Python type to JSON type is called what? Serialization mechanism. So in this context, what I'm using now today, JSON render method is there. But actually in the previous application, I didn't use any JSON render method, all these things. Why? Because we have used it in my previous application, API view class I have used it. Look at this in the view section. I have used a predefined API view class. This API view class automatically convert that data into render data into JSON format, including JSON renderer. So this API view is going to bring the output into browsable API window only. No need to test your API separately. So no need to manage your API separately. Now today I'm going to use what actually JSON renderer is there. JSON renderer. It is used to render serialized data into JSON. What is JSON renderer? Let me show you. So today topic is using this one only. I'm going to show you JSON renderer. JSON renderer. Okay, JSON renderer. What is the purpose of JSON render? Means it is used to render serialized data into JSON. It is used to render the serialized data into JSON. serialize the data into JSON. Sir. This is the purpose. So this through only we have to work on it now today. So for this purpose, what I'm trying to do, I need to create a new application. So let's create a new application. Step-by-step approach I'm following. You just follow. So now go to terminal. I'm going to create a new application now, sir. To create a new application, what we need to do? Python space manage.py start app. My application name is REST app 2, sir. So REST app 2 is created successfully. After created successfully, we have to include into under your project settings folder, settings.py. Here we have to include REST app 2 only, REST app 2. That's it. After that, close the settings, not required. And next, what we need to do here, models we have to create. Yes, let me create a model because already we did model no in the last session. What model we have in the application? So we can create model. Let me create model again into REST app 2 models. Now how to create model means model class. Class, my class name is employee model only. You can take any model or student model. Model start, what actually model. Now let's create the field sequence. Name equals to model start char field. So max length equals to 20, just template. Address equals to model start char field. Again, max length equals to 20. Okay, mail equals to model start email field. Max length 30. Age equals to model start integer field. This is model, same model what we created in the last session. Now we can see in the last application, the moment when we create a models, so I have not given any name of the table properly. Automatically, this table name is going to create. This table name in the sense what? When we don't mention specific name of the model or table, then automatically the table name should be your application name underscore your model class name. Okay. But I don't want to be my table name like this, sir. I want to prepare my table name particularly. So if you want to create your own table name, then inside the model class, what we have to use class, meta class, and db underscore table property equals to what table name you want, you can give this. My table name is employee table. I wanted. This is only table name. So this name through only table will be created after making migrations and migrate. Okay. So model successfully created under REST app 2. Now this time you can see go to terminal and go make migrations and migrations. So Python space manage.py make migrations. You know that when we go for make migrations, automatically migration file will create with the name employee. That migration file is present in migrations folder. You can expand it and migration file name is 001. Okay, this is created in this migration file. Also, you can notice this. The name of the table, database table is what? Employee. With this table only will create. With this name only will create. But now you can see this whenever the moment make migrations, the table will not create, sir, for your kind information. Internally, SQL query will be generated. Okay. Do you want to see the SQL query? What command is required? Python space manage.py SQL migrate. Your application name is REST app 2. Your migration file name is 001. And we enter this. Now we can see this script is created. SQL script it is. This is created by ORM, Object Relational Mapper. So this will execute now. When it will execute, you have to migrate it. Python space manage.py migrate. After that, this query will execute. After execution, model will be created. So what database table will create? Employee table will create. How do you check whether table is created or not? Either you can register this model into admin.py, what we did in the last session, or else directly you can manage from here only, not a problem. So right click on main and refresh it. Now here we can see this employee table is created because my table name is specifically mentioned employee. If I don't use this db underscore table employee means automatically REST app 2 underscore employee table is there. But here I mentioned the table name and edit data. So right now there is no data is available. But sir, I want to insert few records here because I want to retrieve this complex type to Python type to JSON type. I have to send by using JSON renderer concept now today. So how to include the records into here means you can use plus symbol and you can include the names, address, and mail like this. Okay, so I'm including. So a few more records I'm including. Just I'm including this is like this. Now let me include few more records. Okay. Now you can see this. Yes, these are the records. 3 records enough, sir. Let's click on green arrow mark update, submit button. Now records are there, model records, 3 records are there. Our requirement is today I want to bring these records into where? Into output only. But here in today's session, in the last session, we worked with a class-based view. Okay, you just observe here in the last session, REST app 1 in the view section. Class-based view have used it or not? Yes. That too, this class-based view is generated from built-in class that is called API view class. But today I'm showing what actually function-based view through. So creating an API with using function-based view. And also we are going to use JSON renderer. So normally in the last session, we use function class-based view. That class-based view is generated from API view. That API view will automatically will use internally render method. So by using rendering only, it will convert that Python type into JSON type completely. But here today, I'm going to include JSON renderer using function-based view through how to create an API. It is used to render the serialized data into JSON. So let's see this function-based view through how to create API. Let's go to REST tab 2. But before going to create a view section, I have to include serializers.py file because serializers are very important. Serializers are going to take responsible to take the complex type to JSON type conversion process. So in that context, I have to add one file, sir, serializers.py file. I have to add. REST tab 2, go to new serializers.py file. So Python file, name it serializers.py or py is optional, not compulsory. It's automatically created. But in this serializers.py, what I'm trying to import, you know that from REST framework. Okay, import serializers from. Now we can see in previous lecture I used model, but right now I don't want to include any model because I'm not going to use model serializer. Suppose here you can see this from REST tab 2 dot models import. What model is there? Employee model is there, but it is not required. I'll tell you. Now I'm going to create serializer class. EMP serializer is my class, which is inherited from serializer start. Now you can see model serializer I'm using. Let me show you model serializer. If I use model serializer, what I'm taking generally. So normally here model I'm giving. Okay, model equals to, but let me take class meta. So this is model equals to what actually? Employee model. Fields equals to what? Which we discussed in the last session. This is only underscore all. This is enough, sir. But here I don't want to use model serializer because we have to know that clearly. If you don't use model serializer, normal serializer, how it will be. So if you don't use model serializer means model is not required. So that's what I'm removing. This model is not required for me. I'm using normal serializer only here. Normal serializer means this is serializer. If it is normal serializer, what is the problem? What is the advantage? Advantage not. So here you can see this. Yeah, I'm removing this meta. Okay. So now coming to this in the serializer start serializer, I'm using completely in the model. How many fields are there? All fields must and should include into serializer start py also in this serializer class. So you have to use serializers dot char field serializer start char field here serializer start email field like this. So this is the thing. But model serializer only recommended. But we have to know both cases, no? In DJANGO, we discuss model forms, normal forms. Same here also model serializer, normal serializer. In upcoming session, model serializer only I'll include. but you have to know that clearly both cases how it will be. So this is clearly we are using normal serializer. Okay. And after that, you have to go to view sections as here it is view section is important, but we are working with right now function based view. No, let's go to view section views. In this view, what are the required names, what are the required libraries you have to include. For sure, one thing is required from REST framework. Okay. Import, from REST framework. From REST framework onwards, what is required here in the view section? From REST framework dot renderers. Import what I said, JSON renderer is there because we are working with JSON renderer. JSON renderer, it is used to render the serialized data into JSON format. This is our requirement. Why, sir, you have not used previous class means? Because I have used API view class in the previous section. That was class based view. Now we have to show that how it will be render actually here. Okay. So your complex type will be rendered into JSON format, how it will be. So by using JSON render, it is coming from renderers from REST framework only. After that, we need to initialize the data to the serializer object with serializer class. So that's what serializer class is available from REST app 2. Okay, dot serializers dot import. What serializer is there? Employee serializer is there. So REST app 2 means your application name. Serializers means your serializers.py file. In this file, what is there? EMP serializer is there. Look at this. EMP. This I am accessing now in the views. So after that, model also required or not? Yes, because we are going to bring the data from model only. Model also is coming from where? REST app 2 dot models. Import what model? Employee model class. So model is required because we are going to fetch the data from this model. And this model object, query set object, we are passing to employee serializer because to convert that a Python type to JSON type. So JSON render is there. We have to render that data. So these all things are required for function based view. Now I'm going to create my view name function based view. You can see function based view is DF normally. In previous lecture, I used class based view. That's what class keyword I used. But right now I'm using function based view. DF. My function based view name is EMP underscore details I'm taking. But here two function based views I want to use because one is for getting one employee record, particular record. One more is for all records. You can use both. So function based view, first object is request and second object is PK. PK means primary key. I have to call the API with the ID number. That ID number will come and store here PK only. This ID through I want to get the query set object. EMP equals to what model? Employee model. Employee model. EMP equals to employee model dot objects dot get method is there. Now we can see this. What is the ID means? ID equal to PK. So based on this ID only, I want to bring the record by using this EMP details function based view. So this is only one particular record only. So okay. So then now here I need to include from DJANGO response also. Let's see this from DJANGO.http import HTTP response. First, I will show you normal response, which is available in the browser. So after that, we will go for API testing also using Python test.py file through how to test this API, whether it will work or not. Also, I'll show you. So right now we can see this EMP is a query set object. This query set object we have to supply to serializer object or not? Yes. So I'm creating serializer is my object name of what serializer class you have to create object employee serializer. I have to pass this EMP only. So this EMP query set object data we are passing into serializer class, EMP serializer class. And this serializer object, finally, we need to give the return response only. But before going to response, what we need to do, this serializer dot data need to be converted into JSON format. So that's what JSON render is required. So I'm giving my object name is JSON underscore data. Any name you can take here equals to. So JSON renderer is a method name. Dot render is a method name again. Then how it is going to be convert means so serializer data. This serializer dot data only converted into JSON format. Finally, I need to return HTTP response. So what data I have to return? JSON data. What is this content type? Also, I have to mention content type equals to application slash JSON. I have to use application slash JSON. This is content type. Because we have seen in the last session when we get the output in the browsable API window, clearly type of the application is JSON type only. Content type is application slash JSON. This is for what actually for getting only one record. We have to pass ID. But for getting more records, all records, we have to create one more view. That is another function based view. I'm creating emp underscore details underscore all I'm taking. Okay, then again current request object here, request comma. Then for this purpose, primary key is not required because we are going to bring all the records, emp underscore details underscore all only. So after this, I have to create query set object emp equals to get all the details employee dot objects dot all we have to use. Employee dot employees my dot objects dot all. That's it. So this object data I have to pass to the serializer object. Serializer equals to, now you can see emp serializer of what emp query set object. Then similarly JSON data need to be rendered and application response need to become. Let me copy paste it, not a require here. So this is common code. What is the difference between this function based view and this function based view? Names are different, and this function based view will call with the only particular employee record you have to pass in the API testing case on the URL address. And when we call this one directly, we can call emp underscore details underscore all means automatically URL3, it will bring all records. All records will be stored into query set object. Query set object we are passing to employee serializer class. This employee serializer class will take this query set object. This is Python type. It will convert into JSON type. JSON type we are passing into this one. This is JSON type. This is going to be rendered into your HTTP response. Why this JSON type need to be rendered? Because this data we need to display into where? In the browser. That's what browser means, client side. No client can understand server side code. So that's what JSON render I'm using here. JSON render dot render. Rendering means transform. Your JSON data we are rendering into browser understandable format. That will store into here only. So this data we are going to give in the response, return response. This is its DJANGO response, means browser response. Later we will go for it, instead of getting DJANGO response, we will go for API testing also, how to do with Python application through. So all set. Okay, model is ready and database table is ready. Records are ready. Serializer class is ready. Normal serializer class. And for a change, I'm taking, okay, instead of model serializer, because every time if I go for same style of code, then you may not get variations. So that's what sometimes we have to go for all the aspects I have to cover. So which one is the best? You can go through that. So now view section is ready. 2 views are there. But if you want to execute this view, compulsory URLs is required or not? Yes. So to create URLs, application level URLs recommend. So under right press tab to new Python file, you can create urls.py. And from django.urls import path, you know this thing. And from your application name is press tab to import views. And again URL patterns we have to use. URL patterns equals to, and path we have to use. I'm not giving any name. Yes, you have to give the names are here because two function based views are there. The moment when I go to emp slash, we have to pass in the pk because ID number is required to get only particular employee records. Particular employee records purpose, which view is there? Emp details view is there. But another view is there, emp all I'm taking. Emp all means this view through I'm going to access all the employee details. So emp details all. Okay, so like this. Or else only emp means you will get employee details. Emp slash ID means we will get particular employee details. All means all records. One means one record. These two views are ready. But this URL we have to include into project level URLs. Into project level URLs, we have to inject this URLs also. But right now, the moment when we execute directly without any endpoint or resource name, rest app one.urls will execute. So I have to give the name for this rest app one slash, then it will not execute. But next application purpose, I'm not giving any URL name. Directly it will go to our REST app to application. REST app to URLs will execute. Now this is all settings. Now we have to do this. So let me close this, all the tabs, because I have to explain the flow clearly, how it is going to be execute this all set. First, the moment when we start the server, look at this. I'm going to terminal window. I'm going to start the server. Python space manage.py run server. Python space manage.py run server. Now, when we hit this link, automatically first it will go to where DJANGO project level URLs. It will go to this link, and after that it will look this URL names. But already admin URL name is there. It is for admin site visiting. REST app one is there for REST app one URLs, but I'm not going to give any names. Any names, if you don't give means directly it will call what REST app to URLs. Immediately it will go to REST app 2 and URLs will be called. In this URL, it will wait for your request. You are going to send which request emp/id number, pass it, then it will call emp_details. Let me show you this. If I pass in the URL emp/id number 1, I pass. For example, ID number 1 means pk1. Along with ID number 1, it will call what view? emp details view, which will come from views folder. Views folder we available where REST app 2. It will go to REST app 2 views, and emp details is this one. ID number 1 we supply, no, that will come to here. That ID through we are going to get employee.objects.get function. ID number 1 record will get, and it will display into this query set object. This is emp is a query set object. This object type we are passing into employee serializer class, because serializers are used to convert your complex type to JSON type. So that's what I'm using serializer object. This serializer object I'm passing to the response only, but before passing, then we have to render this serialized data into JSON format. JSON data we are going to give response only finally. So this is HTTP response. In case in the URL, okay, if I include this emp only, then it will call emp_details_all view. In the view section, emp details all records will come. All records will display here. Let's hit this request, and it will wait for your request. Now you can see it is waiting, and I'm going to give this class emp/1 only. Now you can see one record details are coming: name Durga, address HYD, mail Durga, Gmail. This is called JSON form. One record. If I go for second record, now you can see second record details are like this. If I go for suppose not wrong record means fifth record or fourth record is there. But look at this, employee matching query does not exist. This is obviously error, runtime error. We have to handle this runtime errors also. We'll discuss how to handle runtime errors and all. Okay, so records should be there here. But these records are correct or not, you can just check out here, and in this database, look at this employee edit data. Now this record 1 Durga, 2 Mohan, Prasad, like this. So we are going to get this data. Only we are getting what? Particular. Because I don't want to get particular records, or I want to get all records. So then we can go for URL name is emp/. That's it. So emp/ also it's not working because name serializer emp set. Let me check this. What is going? Query set has to be object name, not the value field name on serializer. Let me check. So what is the problem? It's easy to manage, not a problem. Let's go to here, view section, URL section, serializers. Now you can see name, serializer start field, address, mail, page. Let me check models. Name, address, mail, age. Name, address, mail, age. Yeah, perfect. And now let's see this in this view section. Any problem? Return STD response emp equals to employee.objects.all. Yeah, it's my mistake. So here the many records are there. You can see many equal to true have to use, because we are going to get all the records, multiple records. That's what here we are unable to get this. Now let's start the server and get this response. It will come now surely. So only I want to get all records. Let's emp all records are coming. Multiple records are going to be enclosed within the square bracket inside the curly brackets. Each record, one record, second record, all these details are coming. Okay, 3 records are there. This is what we are getting response API. This is creating function-based view, creating an API by using function-based view. But sir, Here we are working with the DJANGO application only. We created API in DJANGO application. We are working with DJANGO application, everything. But if I give this API link to any other application, for example, observe here, this API link is giving to Python application. So user can send the request through Python application. How we can test this API means we'll see this. So I want to test this API link, whether it is working or not. How to test this API link means we have to go to REST app 2. There is a test.py is there. No? Yes, we have to test this API. If you want to test this API, then we need to import some request object here. Yes, compulsory. So look at this. I'm going to import request, requests request. But look at this, request is a library which is not available. You have to install it. How to install it means simple, right click on it, place mouse pointer on request library. There is an installed package request is there. You can hit this link. Automatically, it will be installed this request library. Once you install this request library after package installation successfully, then request object is not available clearly. After that, we have to create URL equals to URL name, because this is the API link. How to get API link means first you can start the server here. And after starting the server, now you can see we are getting this link. Now you can copy this link and you can use that API link only. And what the way you want, first, if you want to get employee/ID number 1 means this is the API link. This link I need to send. So I'm going to create a request object. So R equals to request dot R equals to request dot get method. So URL attribute is there equals to what is that URL. This URL means this only. Using this URL through only we are going to get response. This is called API URL. And this URL we are passing. Instead of this URL directly, you can copy paste this code and place into here also. But here I'm going to convert this request object into JSON format. R.json I'm taking, but after converting it to JSON format, I want to store the data into here, emp data or emp underscore data. This data I want to print into terminal because it is a Python file. That's all. But now observe carefully, you are not going to run directly this link. You are going to run what actually Python file, test.py file you are going to execute. Means you are going to test whether this URL link, API link is working or not. So right now here Python, we are sending requests from Python code. Python application can communicate with the DJANGO application with the help of this API link. DJANGO application, it will go to emp/1 URL. DJANGO application will communicate with model. Model onwards, it will bring the data and it will convert into queryset object, that is emp. Emp data convert into JSON format. JSON we are going to requesting and we are sending into terminal print emp data. This is going to happen. This is called testing your API by using normal manual testing like test.py. But you can also test this API in the browsable API window. In the last session, what I have shown in the browsable API, there only we can able to post, get everything, we can send requests. That is good. So now let me show you. But to test this API like Python file, we have to run test.py. First, you have to start the server compulsory, because server is there, then we will get response. If server is not active, how we get response? It's not possible. That's what here we started server in local window, one window. But if you want to test the API by hitting this request from here, Python space test.py. So you have to open one more local window plus symbol, and you are into where DRF 9 p.m. But actually you are sending request from where REST app 2 only. But we are not in REST app 2. We have to move to REST app 2. REST app 2, I'm moving CD space REST app 2. CD means change directory. Here we need to run Python space test.py. This is testing. You are going to execute what file? Python file, test.py. From Python file to you are communicating with what? DJANGO application through via what? API. This is API. This API is enabled to communication from Python app to DJANGO app. So finally, we are executing Python app. We are getting the result here. The API link is working. That's what ID number 1. We are getting the records here. ID number, name, address, and everything we are printing. In case if I mention this only EMP means, then you will get all records now. This means another view is going to execute because this is the URL name. Immediately DJANGO application URL is there. No, in this URL EMP is there. EMP underscore all details underscore all will call. Now let's see this again. We are going to run this test.py. Now we got this all records. We got it. This is all records we're getting. So this is about API testing by using Python file. So ultimately, what I'm saying here in this case, in this example also, we are using JSON renderer method because there is no built-in API view class. So we are going to render this JSON data into our response object. So we are sending the data into client. So this is completely serialization only, complex type to Python type to JSON type. But in this example, what I did here, so let me draw this. For example, you have run this Python file only. This is Python file. So this is Python application. What we have run ultimately test.py only, you know? Yes. So test.py have run. We have executed test.py file. We executed. This is what file? This is what application? Python application. This is Python application through we are sending request to what actually your API only. What is our API? This is our API link. What is that API link here? HTTP colon / 127.0.0.1 colon 8000 is my port number. Look at this, 8000 is my port number. 8000 is my port number. After that, my URL name emp1/1. This is API. So this API through we are communicating with what applications are? DJANGO application. So our main intention of API creation is communication between one application to another application. This is DJANGO. From DJANGO app onwards, we are going to get the record. So this is how we did today by using JSON render and by using function-based view. In the last session, we create an API by using class-based view with built-in API view class. So mostly that kind of API window only I'm going to display in the upcoming session here. So this is Python app and this is API. This is API. This is API. This is mediator and this is DJANGO. So from test.py file, we are requesting API to get employee data and API will send request to DJANGO application. DJANGO application is giving the data to the API. API will give the data to the Python application test.py. Finally, we are going to bring that data. We are printing into test.py file emp data. We are getting result. So this is how to create API, how to get the data. Only we did up to now serialization concept only, means we are bringing complex type model data into Python type to JSON type. In the next coming sessions, we will go for deserialization also. Deserialization means we are passing JSON data to Python type to complex type only. That is deserialization. We'll discuss that all in upcoming session. Your next session will be on Monday, sir. Okay, so you have completed 3 demo lectures. The API is only for 3 demos, no other demos, more demos. And next session, our regular session will start from Monday onwards, as usual, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. every day. So this session duration is maximum 4 weeks only. Okay, that's what we are conducting, only 3 demo lectures. From Monday onwards, if you really interested to attend my REST API lectures, you have to enroll for this course. Once your enrollment process is over, for Monday session, you will get a short link, that is GoToMeeting link. This link will not work from Monday. I'll send that GoToMeeting link only for enrolled students only. For enrollment process, you can contact to DURGASOFT. And if you are already my Python full stack student, no need to enroll. Obviously, you will get a link from my side. You can happily join from Monday onwards. And once Monday onwards, I'm going to share this video lectures which I conducted that to your Google Drive and also soft copy of complete material. So already I have shown that material also. This material you are going to receive complete PDF and everything is there in this PDF completely step by step. I have clearly mentioned what I'm going to do in our upcoming session. Complete PDF I prepared here. These are the things which we are going to cover in the API context. Okay, so that's all for now. See you on Monday again, your next session at 9 p.m. IST with a new link. Go to meeting link, it you will get. So before that, you have to enroll for this course if you are new to my sessions. But already my Python full stack student means no need to pay anything, no need to enroll, and directly you'll get a link from my side. You can join happily directly. Okay, only few students are out of the students, out of my students, so that you can contact the DurgaSoft for continuing these sessions. So see you on Monday, sir. Have a nice day.